What is going on? I think I'm live. Wait, I can double check. Looks like I'm live. I've got a lot of work to do today. Starting kind of late, for sure. Yes, okay. Let me just turn this on. Okay, cool. Alright, starting kind of late today. But we're going to do some different kind of work. First off, gonna make a GDD, game design document. I need to start working on some like administrative stuff for the game because I'm gonna be bringing more people into the project. Just working on actually making this thing a thing. Let's see. Word. Alright, so full disclosure, this first part is gonna be a lot of ChatGPT. We're gonna use a lot of AI to help me out here. Let me go to an older game design document that I have. So, documents, files, game documents. I'm going to go to my original Cult of the Crow GDD because that was my favorite one. Okay. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we got project descriptions, version history, we don't need that. Okay, so we got characters, story progression, gameplay, art style, music and sound, technical descriptions, marketing, funding, other ideas. Okie dokie. So this is kind of the setup. We're gonna go ahead and generate some of this stuff. Okay. So yeah, I have not been looking forward to doing this part, because I think I talked about it in a previous stream. I'm just still not 100% 100% certain on what this game is even gonna be. Okay, so let's go into here. I need to make a game design document detailing all of the detailing many important aspects of the game. These are the categories. Oh, wait, okay. Let's actually do this. Let's go one category at a time, please. We will edit them as we go along. Okay, it's gonna start. I guess we'll start kind of in this, using this index. We'll do characters first. Game overview, gameplay mechanics, story and narrative, level design, art and aesthetic, sound and music, technical requirements, target audience, monetization. Let me know where to begin. Okie doke. Alright. This all seems good. Level design, art and aesthetic, sound and music, technical requirements, engine, platform performance, and technical goals. This is going to be a little bit harder to define at the moment because I'm not as familiar. This will be a hard chapter, or a hard category. Game overview is going to be good, so let's start there. Right. Let's go ahead and open up a new one. I'm gonna need a new logo as well. Okay, so I'm gonna go and open up a new thing. So we're gonna go with, let's start with the game overview. Game overview. Currently, the game is named Gloom and is intended to be a 2D side-scrolling physics-based puzzle platformer with an emphasis on moody monocolored pixel art style and the moody simplistic monocolored simplistic colored pixel art style. Okay, so Gloom's intended to be a 2D side-scrolling physics-based puzzle platform with some moody simplistic colored art style. Similar to the Play Dead game named Limbo. Okay. Please expand on this to create the game overview section of the GDD. Yeah. Okay. I see Ethan's in here. Get a load of this guy. Get a load of this guy. You're grounded. Send that. Okay, he's gonna redo that. Stop streaming, nerd. You stop streaming. Alright. Yeah, the dogs are barking. I can't do anything. My mouse or they came back from their vacation and they're right back to barking. Okay. So game title Gloom. Genre 2D side-scrolling physics-based puzzle platformer. PC with potential expansion to console and mobile platforms. Quiet down. Art style. Gloom embraces a moody, atmospheric visual style characterized by simplistic yet evocative pixel art style. The game employs a limited color palette to convey emotions and atmosphere, focusing on minimalism while maintaining visual clarity. Shadows, lighting, and environmental details play a critical role in storytelling and immersion, reminiscent of Playdead's Limbo. Okay, that's fine. Gameplay concepts. Gloom challenges players with physics-based puzzles and environmental interactions, seamlessly integrating to the puzzle mechanics. Players navigate through a haunting and mysterious world where each obstacle and puzzle piece feels like a natural part of the environment. The game prioritizes subtle storytelling through exploration and interaction with no overt dialogue or exposition. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. Narrative theme. Set in a desolate, melancholy world, Gloom invites players to unravel its mysteries through visual storytelling and atmospheric cues. Themes of isolation, loss, and resilience are central to the game's experience, leaving interpretation are essential to the game's experience, leaving interpretations open to the player's imagination. Core experience. Gloom draws inspiration from Playdead's Limbo, incorporating similar gameplay elements like environmental puzzles and physics-based interactions. However, it aims to carve out its own identity through the use of color and unique artistic direction. I don't know about that. Target audience. Gloom appeals to players who enjoy atmospheric, thought-provoking games that blend puzzles with minimalist storytelling. Fans of Limbo, Inside, and other indie titles focus on immersive experiences will find Gloom engaging. Key differences. A distinct use of color in its pixel art aesthetic, setting it apart from monochromatic tones of inspiration. Procedural animation and dynamic physics interactions for more immersive and lifelike experience. Unique puzzles that emphasize environmental storytelling. Okay. Actually. Okay, so make these changes. The game is actually monochromatic in its color palette, similar Limbo. Procedural animation has been removed. Focus on rig based keyframe and animation instead. There's another thing. Core inspiration. Make these changes. Make sure to update the core inspiration sections as well as any that might contradict with these facts. Okay, let's try that. So whenever we get this, we're definitely gonna have to edit a lot of this. Just getting the sections filled out though is gonna be super important. Let's see where the hell was there. Let's go back up top. Okay, so we're gonna copy these over into the document so that we have our categories, and we're just gonna kind of get the document organized. Yo, we'll do that. So get all this stuff organized, because we're gonna have to fill out all of these. Chat is not going to be able to get these like exactly the way we want them, but he can get it close at least. That is not exactly what I want, so we're gonna do this. Like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Yeah, I gotta get this out quick because I am like inviting other people to work on the project, and I want to make sure that whenever I'm gonna make pitches to them basically like, hey, this is what I'm working on. Here's the design document. This is what the game is about. I also need to make a list of roles that I need filled, and kind of like some responsibilities. Like, and the people that I'm like targeting for this stuff, it's not necessarily that they'll have to do like something super specific. Well, they're like, there's how do I explain this? It's like I want to give them a list of things that I need, and then then we can have a conversation about like what they think they're capable of and what they want to like handle on their own. A lot of this stuff, you know, I would say that a lot of this stuff, 99% of this stuff, I'm gonna be able to figure out on my own. But this is like a time constraint thing. Like if I want to spend my entire life working on this thing, that's fine. But by golly, if I have help, it'll actually help. It'll be a good thing because I get to practice being like a leader on these projects, but also, you know, I have lots of plans in the future, and this is a good way to experience maybe what it's like to live those realities. All right, let's read it again. Okay, Gloom, working title. I want to add some alternate options for game title. PC, expensive, console, mobile platforms, potential expenses. Mobile platforms, I don't know. I might take that out, but I'll leave it. I'll leave it in for now. Gloom adopts a monochromatic visual style. Is that what they started with? Is that what he started with before? Art style, he did. I'm gonna flip art style and gameplay. I'm gonna put gameplay, narrative, art style, core inspirations, and then target audience. Gloom directs inspiration from Played as Limbo, both monochromatic art style and its focus in atmospheric puzzle platforming. However, Gloom by itself by exploring new puzzle mechanics and refining its animation style with a brick-based. This is not as polished. This is not as refined as Limbo is. There's no way I'm gonna say this and pretend that my animations are better than theirs. There's no way in hell. Okay, so let's go ahead and drop this in though, and then we'll be starting it up. Okay, so we'll take this away. We're going to take these, click them like this, put them over top. Germ, no, I haven't contacted Germ yet. I'm interested in working with Jeremy again. He's a phenomenal music or producer for music, but I'm actually bringing in Hainer. I think that Hainer has a better skill set for a game like this in particular. I might still contact Germ to ask, but this is more atmospheric, not necessarily music based. There might be some music, but it's gonna be way more floaty. So I think that Hainer actually is a good fit for a project like this. A much better fit. Not to say that Germ's bad. Germ just does different types of music, and I love working with Germ. Okie dokie, let's get this moving. Let's get this out of the way. Hang on, trying to move this correctly. Normal. I want to put kind of the this stuff. Project description. Okay, so I need something like this. This is a game overview. That's fine. I want a project description. Let's go ahead and have chat write up something real quick for that. I'm gonna put this starting page, this page right here. Before I continue, actually, I'm gonna take this and make it the index. Copy this, put here. Index. Excuse me. Okay. Game overview. Copy that. Put that there as well. Game overview. Okay, so now we just remove this stuff. Okay, take this. We're going to just keep this stuff here as placeholders for now. So game overview goes here. I'm gonna have this page be the index, and then I want a project. Did I really have very angelic ethereal music? That is exactly what I want. I want more atmospheric, dark, moody music. I know that Germ can make it, but he's the last music he made me, and the music he makes in general is just more energetic. But I'm willing to give him a shot. I just have to. The thing is, I'm gonna make this document first, and then I'm gonna contact a lot of people, more people than I contacted before. Okay, so there's a project description here, and then it gives. I'm not gonna do a version history, but I might need to. This is where the index is. What is this? What is this using? Right, okay. 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 Alright, just making sure. So then I need to put... I'm gonna placeholder Pickle Brain here. So with the placeholder, it'll just be a little bit easier to like, oh, I'll fix this later. Hey, come on. Okay, and then I'll just drop everybody else. Yeah, Elon put his on top. What? Okay. Alright. Okay, so that's just a placeholder for now. Let's get the game brief in here as well. I don't know if I should do... I'm gonna leave the index page too, and then put the brief. That makes a little bit more sense to me. Let's go ahead and close this. Beautiful. Close as well. Let's do a... What's it called here? It's called a project description here. Okay, so... Please write me a brief paragraph that will serve as the project description. I need to go highlight in the... so I'm gonna... While it's doing that, I'm gonna highlight in the current document. Let's go ahead and save this. Save as, browse, desktop. This is gonna be my Gloom GDD. There you go. Okay, so it's working on that. Challenges players traverse a haunting, mysterious world, overcoming obstacles, and feel naturally embedded in the environment. Perfect, subtle storytelling through exploration and visual replaces direct exposition, allowing players to piece together narratives through observation. Beautiful. Set in a desolate, enigmatic world, the Gloom tells a story of resilience, survival through minimalist environment and ambience. Themes, isolation, loss, and discovery are woven into the game's storytelling. This is bad. This is going to need to be changed. The narrative theme, the storytelling and stuff, like, it's gonna need to be, like, nailed down. Probably today. Not like entirely nailed down, but I need to come up with a theme and like a backstory that I actually want to pursue. Gloom adopts a monochromatic visual style relying on shades of black, white, and gray to create moody, impressive atmosphere. Shadow lighting and silhouette art dominate the aesthetic, immersing players in a bleak and mysterious world. Okay, good. That's good. Gloom draws inspiration from places Limbo, both in monochromatic art style and focus on atmospheric puzzle platforming. However, Gloom itself mechanics. This is like bad. We'll fix that. Gloom is designed for players who enjoy atmospheric, emotionally engaging experiences with challenging puzzles. Fans of Limbo, Inside, and other indie platformers that emphasize mood storytelling. These are key differentiators. Monochromatic art style that creates a distinct sense of. This is obviously not good. Rig-based keyframe animations. That's bad. Unique puzzle tied to the environment storytelling blending seamlessly with the game's world. No, these are not differentiators. That's the problem. Okay, so this is my note. I'll put my note in red. These are not differentiators. Limbo has all these things. Limbo and Inside has all these things. Come up with actual differentiators, please. Okay, there you go. Okay, dokie. All right, next. So here's my project description. Gloom is a 2D side-scrolling, physics-based puzzle platformer that immerses players in a haunting monochromatic world. Drawing inspiration from Playdead's Limo, the game features a moody and atmospheric aesthetic, utilizing shadows and lighting to tell a subtle, emotion-driven story. God, I hope it's an emotion-driven story. I don't know, might not be. I need to work on the story. Players will navigate challenging puzzles and environmental obstacles while piecing together a narrative of isolation and resilience. I don't know about isolation and resilience. Gloom emphasizes fluid movements with rig-based keyframe animations, blending a minimalistic style with intricate gameplay to deliver a captivating, thought-provoking experience. Rewrite this and exclude the mention of rig-based keyframe animation. Don't care about that. Mom was asking what I wanted from Tom Hortons. Boom, that's good. Okay, so let's go ahead and stick that in here as well. Let's go ahead and put it right here. Project description. Let's go ahead and put a section for project description. We're gonna call it Project Brief. Project Brief. And we'll call it that here as well. Brief. Let's go ahead and take this, open it up. Project Brief. Game overview. Some of the game include genre, platform, elevator pitch. This is gonna be turned to gray. That needs to change. Next is gameplay and mechanics. Since we're here, let's go ahead and just change all this stuff to this right now. Gray this all out. Okay. Okie doke. Alright, next is gameplay mechanics. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that in. Please give me the section on gameplay and mechanics. Here we will also define the control schema and ways player interact with the environment. Schema. There you go. I need to get a drink. Okay, core gameplay. Gloom revolves around physics-based puzzle environmental interactions. Players take control of the lone character, navigating a monochromatic world filled with obstacles, hazards, and paths. The game emphasizes problem solving through observation, physics manipulation, and timing. The player interacts with environments to progress, whether by moving objects, activating mechanisms, or finding safe ways to traverse dangerous terrain. There's no combat mechanics. Instead, the game challenges players with clever puzzles and platforming sequences that rely on precise movement and timing. Beautiful. So the player can walk, jump, mantle onto ledges, and climb ladders. Traversal is fluid and precise, allowing players to master their movement for complex puzzles and hazardous areas. Object interactions. The player can push, pull, and carry objects like crates or levers to manipulate the environment. Objects in the environment adhere to realistic physics, enabling dynamic puzzle solutions. Nice. Mantling and climbing. Players can mantle onto ledges, allowing them to climb to higher platforms if they're within reach. This mechanic integrates seamlessly with environmental puzzles, encouraging exploration. Environmental triggers. Pressure plates, switches, and other mechanisms react to players' interactions, unlocking new paths or altering the environment to allow progression. Hazards. The environment is littered with hazards such as collapsing platforms, swinging traps, or crushing objects. Players must navigate these dangers carefully. Puzzle solving. Puzzles are integrated naturally into the environment, often requiring players to manipulate objects or interact with mechanisms. Solutions rely on experimentation and observation. Control schema. Oh my gosh, the dogs are barking. They're barking. Left stick, arrow keys, move left and right. A, spacebar, jump. B, shift. Run, optional for longer or jump time sections. So we want to remove this. Interaction is X, E for interacting with objects. Yep. Up, climb ladders, mantle onto ledges. Down, drop from ledges or descend ladders. Environmental navigation. Hold X, directional input for dragging or carrying objects. Hold X plus directional input, drag or carry objects. Okay, so let's fix the easy stuff. Please fix the control schema with these changes. One, B/shift run. Hang on. The control for run should, let me put that in quotes. Run should not be included. The player cannot run. The only movement is in the left stick slash arrow keys. 2. Include a limited camera scan with the right stick / mouse that allows the player to view the environment within a limited radius around the player object. Remove the drop from ledges claim. Sorry, ledges claim. Down only descends ladders. 4 players will not need to hold the interaction button to drag or carry objects. Currently, it is a toggle action. May change in the future to support both methods. Okay, 5. Let's see. Move left, jump, interact with objects, climb ladders, mantle ledges. Make mention that the X/E interaction is for general interactables in the environment. I.E. Buttons, levers, pull or push, objects, keys, etc. Okay, let's make these changes first. Alrighty. Okay, I like all of this stuff. There are some things in here in the core mechanics that I want to add, not necessarily remove. Watch on traversal fluid, precise, requiring players to master the movement to complex. Okay, the player can push, pull, carry objects, manipulate environments. That's fine. Onto ledges, high platforms, and mechanic integrate seamlessly with environmental puzzles, pressure plates, hazards. Damn, as I was reading this, I definitely thought of something that I wanted to change here. Now I can't remember what it was. Okay, let's just get it in. Interaction with environments such as buttons, levers, pushable or pullable objects, keys, and more. Interactions toggled for actions like dragging or carrying objects. Right stick mouse movement. Perform a limited camera scan with a radius within a radius around the player, allowing them to view nearby areas of the environment. So this is something that I'll be integrating soon. Okay. This seems good. Okay. So let's go ahead and copy this in. Core mechanics. Actually, I'm going to go with this. And then go control schema. Okay. Boop. Let's go back here. Go ahead and drop this in here. Okay. Now I need to fix the control schema with the updated one. Just go ahead and copy this. Put this here. Control schema needs to be updated. There you go. I don't want this stuff to be boldened. I want this to be boldened. Bold. Format painter. Get this bolded. 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 All right, cool. There was something I needed to add in here. God, I keep thinking like I need to add something and then forgetting. Fuck. Okay. Well, shoot. Can't remember what needed to be added. Ouch. Wait, Tim Hortons? It is 8 o'clock at night. Who is drinking coffee at this late? Why would somebody be drinking coffee right now? Tim Hortons is coffee, right? Mom and Dad. What in the world? Don't drink coffee so late. Okay, so stop with that. Okay, next is story and narrative. This is gonna be a little bit more difficult. Okay, let's go ahead and just see what it's got. I mean, I gotta start somewhere, so let's just see what this comes up with, and then I can kind of figure out what to do from there. I have like a little brief idea. Next, let's start on the story and narrative. Please give me this section. This doesn't have to be so formal. All right. Okay, the narrative explores themes of isolation, resilience, overcoming environmental challenges, reflects persistence required to move forward in an unforgiving world, discovery, subtle environmental storytelling setting, in place in a ruined, mysterious landscape filled with abandoned structures, treacherous terrain, and ominous machinery. This world is devoid of life, but brewing with signs of past activity, hinting a large story of destruction or decay. The player character awakens in an unfamiliar, foreboding environment. The first level is introduced mechanics and establish the tone of the game. As the player progresses, the encounter remnants of lost civilization, broken machinery, skeletal remains, and encrypted symbology. The story unfolds through environment. Okay, the player controls a lone, nameless figure whose design mirrors the dark simplicity of the game's world. The character's motivations are not explicitly stated, allowing the player to project their own interpretation of the journey, storytelling, environments. Yes, so this is one of the things that I thought of being the main gameplay difference for the game, was that you were able to, like, in the first level or like first hours of the game, how do I explain this? And I wanted it to be kind of a journey and exploration of like people's two halves. Like you're exploring the environment, exploring kind of the idea of like the two-sided nature of a person's personality, or how they are I'm thinking. I either wanted it to be about like the relationship between man and woman, where like the environment shifts color, like the player character controls one entity, but that entity is able to shift between two colors, like the light side and the dark side. So basically, like you start out in the dark side, and like you're able to manipulate your environment in a particular way, and then when you switch over to the light side, you're able to like either some sort of change happens where Sea of Solitude, where like either the environment changes in some particular way, like platforms disappear, or gravity maybe changes, or like and the entire art style flips. So the color palette just flips on its head. So now blacks become white, gray stay gray, whites become black, and it like completely flips the way the environments look. Excuse me. And like your player character maybe doesn't change, but the colors do, and it's supposed to be like. And I still don't know if I want it to be like I want there to be some sort of underlying story about like something very human. And I want to like have some sort of other character, like NPC, that you're trying to follow, who is all like whenever you're in the like the black state, they're in their white state, and whenever you're in your white state, they're in their black state. So like they are like even like you not only as a player are flipping and flopping like between the two states to get through your puzzles and your environments and stuff, but whenever you encounter this other NPC, they're in the opposite state as you. And I want it to be kind of like maybe a story about how like you are chasing this other player and you don't know why you're chasing this player, and so like that's the big reveal at the end of the game. It's like, am I following them because like we're friends? Am I following them because I want to hurt them? Am I like hunting them down? And it just make it kind of ambiguous as to why you're chasing the NPC. But to know that like that is like one of the driving forces of the game, is to get to that NPC. And I think that that would be a really cool puzzle mechanic, because like not only is it kind of like leaning on like the narrative, but it's a feature, or it's a mechanic that like integrates with the story that I kind of want to tell. So, yeah. And I'm not entirely sure what I want the flip to do, like the color flip. We might have to go back and start working on like we might have to do some stuff in the game right now to kind of change the color flip. Right. And even with that story kind of being explained like that, like maybe that is a fun idea to explore. I might just put that in here right now, and then kind of go back to the sections we've worked on and kind of change the sections to kind of match with that. I'm just trying to think a little bit more about like what the underlying story would be for something like that. Like what is the message I'm trying to convey? Because I like the mechanic, but I want it to make sense with the story. And it could be that it's like kind of an exploration of like when people's relationships, like when I'm hot, you're cold kind of thing. Or maybe like an opposites attract type thing. So like it could be something like that when like, yeah, what's up, Ethan? Okay, go for it. Hit me with the idea. All right. And like with that idea too, like it makes maybe for an interesting, like I could see something like this idea being an interesting co-op game where it's like when we flip, like you have to do certain things. Since you change colors or invert some things, could you make it so that some things are not apparent when it's not in the inverted state? Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely like a cool puzzle mechanic that I think that the inversion will be able to like help us play towards, is like hiding things whenever you're in a certain state, and then whenever you change states, it's more like it's more obvious. But that will definitely come in like describing the mechanic itself and how it will work. I think we'll call that's what we'll call it inversion. So whenever you invert states, yeah, like when you're black, like certain objects won't change. Certain objects will stay exactly as they are, and some objects won't be like, you can't get to certain objects until you've inverted states. So like a wall, you might not be able to traverse through a particular area until you invert states. And like as a debugging mechanism, I'm gonna make it so that you can invert states all the time. So for debugging and testing puzzles and stuff, but I think that we need to like limit how the players invert their states, and that might be a way to kind of convey another like thing where it's like describing the emotional ups and downs. So like having certain events or certain triggers cause the inversions, right? And then you're like playing in a different like tone of game, and then whenever you go back to the other version of the game, you know what, that would be so cool when you invert the music changes too. Like it's an entire thematic change, so like you're using the music also to kind of convey, like whenever you're inverting, it's like an emotional shift. It's not even just like gameplay shift wise. Whenever you invert to like the different environment, oh man, actually that's so cool, because in the early versions or the early levels of the game, the inversions come on through like in the very early versions of the game, you could have the inversion come on from a traumatic event, something that happens in the game that's kind of scary, and it inverts you and you're like, what the hell's going on? I've been like the game is changed entirely. And then as you go along, there's like places where you can invert your color like on purpose. So like there's like 3 stages. In the very beginning, it's just kind of forced on you. You're inverted and you can't like change back. And then in the middle part of the game, there's like checkpoints where you can invert your, not checkpoints, but like puzzle pieces that will invert you. So it's like you're attached to this thing that will invert you, and then by the end of the game, we'll just give the player the ability to invert themselves. And so it's kind of a way to describe how a person becomes in control of their emotions. Where in the very beginning of the game, you're like unable to control your emotions, so it's a very traumatic event that causes you to invert. And then in the middle of the game, you're starting to learn how to control yourself, and you're learning your triggers, and you're learning what affects you. So like you're tied to objects that can invert you. So it could be something as simple as like pickups. So like it's this object that you'll pick up or consume, and then it inverts you. And then in the very end of the game, we'll just like designate a button to give the player complete control over the inversion in the game, and that will be like that'll be like the moment when the player is in control of like thematically in control of their emotions, but more so in control of the mechanic of the game. And we can also so like the main theme of the game is about like controlling like one's own emotions and their like emotional state and their ability to interact with the world. So instead of letting the world dictate how they feel and how they behave, it grows to the point where you're able to change your own perspective with the world. Holy crap, I love that idea. Yeah, I like that idea a lot, so I'm gonna go with that. But now it comes down to like what I want that NPC to be, because I do want there to be an NPC, because like I feel as though having that outside NPC gives you a little bit more perspective on what those tonal shifts like are, how they affect other entities in the world, and how like whenever you're talking about emotions and controlling your emotions as an individual, that's all well and good, but a lot of times we seek out emotional health and stability so that it doesn't affect the ones we care about. Okay. So let's get started on that. Okay, so before we continue, I would like to add a mechanic that will be central to the game, and also one of the driving forces for the story as well. I am currently calling the mechanic inversion when the player uh, when the player inverts all of the monochrome colors will invert from black to white and from white to black. The music will also shift from a potentially a minor version of the music to a major version. The some walls, this mechanic will be integrated into the puzzle solving, with some walls and platforms only being visible during certain forms, as well as interactable objects being affected by the inversion. Version? Okay. This mechanic has implications on the story, so I would like to return to climbing, turn to rewrite the project description, gameplay and mechanics, and sections. Okay, there we go. Let's see what they come up with. Before we continue, I would like to add a mechanic that will be central to the game and also one of the driving forces for the story as well. I'm currently calling the mechanic inversion. When the player inverts, all the monochrome colors will invert from black to white and from white to black. The music will also shift from potentially a minor version of the music to a major version. This mechanic will be integrated into puzzle solving, with some walls and platforms only being visible during certain forms, as well as interactable objects being affected by the inversion. This mechanic has implications on the story, so I would like to return to rewrite the project description, play, and mechanics sections before we move on to the story. Updated project. Gloom is a 2D side-scrolling based puzzle platformer set in a haunting monochromatic world. Inspired by Play to Zimbo, the feature a unique inversion mechanic that allows players to flip monochrome color palettes into the environment. It also alters the tone of the music, shifting from minor to major, creating dynamic and engaging atmospheres. Players must use the mechanic to solve puzzles and navigate a world where certain walls, platforms. Gloom challenges players with physics-based puzzles, environmental interactions. The inversion mechanic lies at the heart of the gameplay, requiring players to manipulate the world's monochrome palette to uncover hidden paths, platforms, and interactable objects. The game emphasizes problem solving through observations, precise movement. Okay, so first, don't like what they've written for the project description. So let's go back up the project description and read what we have. Gloom is a 2D side-scrolling physics-based puzzle platformer set in a haunting monochromatic world, inspired by so they're going the shadows and light to create a sense of mystery and tension. Players will solve challenging puzzles. Okay, so let's go back in here. They've made too much emphasis. Okay, buddy. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. We're almost to an hour. Players must use this mechanic to solve puzzles and navigate the world with certain walls, platforms. Okay, so I will put this in the GDD, but we need to like make a like kind of combine them. Can you combine these two paragraphs detailing the project description and make the inclusion of the new mechanic more subtle? It is an important feature, but does not need to be as heavily emphasized as in the current description. Okay, let's try that. Certainly. Gloom is a 2D side-scrolling, physics-based puzzle platformer set in a haunting electronic world inspired by the game uses a moody and atmospheric aesthetic, relying on shadows and lighting to create a sense of mystery and tension. Players will be solving puzzles and navigating environmental obstacles while uncovering a subtle emotion-driven narrative of isolation and resilience. As players progress, they will encounter shifts in the world that reveal hidden elements and alter the environment, adding layers to both the puzzles and atmosphere with the minimum design, intricate gameplay, and immersive aesthetic. Do mention it by the feature name. Feature name inversion towards the end of the description. Let's try that. Gloom is a 2D side-scrolling, physics-based puzzle platformer set in a haunting and electronic world. Inspired by Playdead's Limbo, the game uses a moody and atmospheric aesthetic, relying on shadows and lighting to create a sense of mystery and tension. Players will solve challenging puzzles and navigate environmental obstacles while uncovering a subtle, emotion-driven narrative of isolation and resilience. Nice. As players progress, they will encounter shifts in the world that reveal hidden elements and alter environment, adding layers to both the puzzle and atmosphere. At the heart of the gameplay is the inversion mechanic, which allows the world to shift in color and tone, further enhancing the emotional depth and puzzle complexity. With a minimalistic design, intricate gameplay, and immersive aesthetic, Gloom delivers a captivating, thought-provoking experience. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Or, thank you, GPT. There you go. Beautiful. That's what I like to see. Let's get that in there. Come on. Don't do that. There you go. That's better. Okay. Let's see what they got on the gameplay side. And then I'll be jumping shit. So here we go. Updated description. Update. Gloom challenges player with a physics-based puzzle and environmental action. The inversion mechanic lies at the heart of the gameplay, requiring players to manipulate worlds on a common palette to uncover hidden paths, platforms, and okay. So can you update the core gameplay section to read more similarly to the project description? Okay. Okay. Gloom challenges players to physics-based puzzles and environmental interactions within the haunting world. Okay. Dial it back to be more like how it was back more to be shorter similar to how it was previously, but keep similar wording. I'm just trying to get to go shorter. Gloom is a physics-based puzzle platformer set in a haunting Minecraft world. Ah, shit. Like the original, or the I like the version from before. Maybe go back to that and physics-based. What is it that I don't like? Gloom challenges players to a physics-based puzzle. The inversion mechanic lies in the heart of gameplay, requiring players to make the doors monochrome. Back to that, and just rewrite this sentence. This one. Gloom challenge players with a physics-based puzzle. Okay. Let's just reset it. This part. Should we write this sentence? The inversion mechanic is central to gameplay, allowing players to shift worlds on a correct palette and platforms. I don't like include a statement about how the inversion may also change the physical behaviors of some objects. Okay. Okie dokie, so let's go ahead and get my core gameplay in. Oh shit, we haven't done the game overview. So let's go ahead and just like commit to this first since we're here anyways. And then this sentence gets an update. And then we take away this, like that, bump that out. Okay, let's go ahead and copy in the rest of this stuff. Right stick, trigger, mouse. I don't like that. I'll change that. Players can invert the monochromatic world, flipping white to black, black to white, reveals concealed elements. There's also implex interact walls, creating new ways to solve puzzles and traverse environments. The music dynamic shifts between minor and major tones. Mention in the rewrite the gameplay the gameplay and mechanics to include this change. The inversion may also change the physical behaviors of particular interactables. Make it so the button to invert is Y. The player does not have direct control over the inversion until later in the game. At first, the inversion will be triggered by events, and then as the player progresses, it can be triggered by consumable objects, and then finally by the player manually through the Y button. Okay. Get this update. Okay, so come down to the bottom. Okay. Gameplay mechanics. Gloom challenges players. Blah, blah, blah. At the start of the game, players cannot directly control the inversion. It will be triggered specific events in the story, creating moments where players must adapt to the changing environment. As the game progresses, players will gain the ability to trigger inversions through consumable objects found in the world. Finally, players will unlock the ability to manually activate inversion by pressing Y button, providing more control over their world's shifting states. The game emphasizes problem solving to blah 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 blah. Gameplay mechanics. Update the entire gameplay and mechanics section to include this change. Let me see. The core gameplay. Let's see. This is my control scheme. Let's go back here. This is core mechanics. Ooh, excuse me. That would include the core mechanics section too. So it's not understanding quite well enough. So what I'm gonna do is paste in, I'm gonna paste in all of this. Update all of this to include the change. Ah, damn it. I spelled change wrong. Beautiful. Much better. Nice, okay. Oh my gosh, I can think of so many more things to do with this now that like I kind of have it in my head. Okay. Let's come down. Let's go ahead and just repaste this stuff. Players interaction with the environment. Update this. Okay, I'm gonna also have it update this. Okay. Sweet. That's what I wanted. Kiddoke. So triggers and switches, dynamic world, exploration, beautiful. Inversion, blah 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 blah, hazards and challenges. Inversion is a core mechanic, fucking awesome. Okay, cool. That's gameplay mechanics. Next would be this section. A game overview. Let's go ahead and paste in the game overview. Okay, please update this section as well. The inversion also has a purpose in the narrative. I just opened up something that I didn't want to. Shoot, I don't know what I did. Narrative. It is meant to reflect. Sorry. Meant to reflect one's ability to control and regulate their emotions. Regulate their emotions. So in the beginning, when the player is inverted due to outside events, it is meant to represent a person's inability to cope with trauma, but as they go along and find soothing objects that help with this is like such a bad way to explain this, but I just need to get it down on paper first, or get it down on so that I can like modify it. Events. So in the beginning, coping, and finally giving players the ability to manually change or invert is supposed to represent being in control of your emotions. Okay, let's try that. Right. So gameplay concepts, Gloom challenges player with physics-based puzzle environment interactions, integrated puzzle platforming, playing traverse haunting a mysterious world, overcoming obstacles that feel naturally embedded in the environment. So storytelling through exploration visual represent allowing players to piece together narrative through observation. Narrative theme. Set in a desolate infinite world. This fucking ChatGPT loves the word enigmatic. Why? Gloom tells us there's a minimalist environment. Themes of fucking the inversion mechanic includes both gameplay and narrative, reflects emotional control. Initially, inversion is triggered by external events representing a person's ability to cope with trauma. As players progress to find soothing objects, they gain the ability to merely invert, symbolizing growing and emotional control and mastery over their circumstances. This is an emotional mechanic. The immersion mechanic not only impacts the gameplay, but is woven into the narrative to represent emotional growth, initially triggered by external events, like a tool for the player to manage their emotions and navigate the world. Beautiful. Beautifully spoken. Narrative to gameplay, rather than using express exposition, Gloom uses gameplay mechanics, especially immersion, to subtly communicate themes of trauma, control, and resilience. Oh, nice! Okay. That gives me... That sounds so good. Atmospheric puzzle design. Gloom's integrated seamlessly in the environment with dynamic elements that change basically players' manipulation of the environment, adding layers of emotional and psychological engagement. Okay! Okay, dog. Okay, dog. Okay, dog. I like it. Let's get it in. Okay. Okay. Alright, so we made some progress on the GDD. We got some pretty important things taken care of. I'm actually really happy about the direction that the story might be taking. Even though, like, it's kind of a simple idea. But I think that it's going to be a fun one to explore. I think this is something that I'm excited to explore, because this is another story that's important to me. Just like with all my other games, I want the story to lead. I want the message to lead, and I want to tell the message through the game, through the gameplay. I feel like this time, like, this kind of mechanic is going to be, like, fun to build, but also fun to let it tell the story. Let the mechanic tell the story. So yeah, looking forward to this. This is good. It feels right. This kind of story, it feels right. Yeah, just sometimes you got to get it out on paper, and then yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so from here, we will go ahead and save this and call it for today. I appreciate you guys joining. I appreciate Ethan coming in and helping me out. Let me straighten out my ideas. I will be seeing you guys in the next one. There wasn't a ton of, game development here, but this is really important. This kind of stuff is important. This is going to be helpful for whenever I decide, or as I decide to grow the project some more. This document's going to help out a bunch. Yeah. All right. Still lots to work on, though. But I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. I hope you have a good evening, good morning, wherever you're dealing with. And we'll catch you in the next one. All right, see ya. Bye.